When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she lay down under Balaam. So Balaam's anger arose even higher, and he struck the donkey with his staff. Again. Y cuando el asna vio el ángel de Jehová, se empujó contra la pared y él aplastó el pie de Balaam contra la pared. Entonces la golpeó de nuevo. Entonces el ángel del Señor fue más lejos y se paró en un lugar estrecho de donde había manera de girar ni a la derecha ni a la izquierda. Y cuando el asna vio el ángel de Jehová, se acostó debajo de Balaam. Entonces Balaam se enojó y golpeó al asna con su vara otra vez. This is a lot of animal cruelty I'm seeing here. Then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said, it was a female donkey, she said to Balaam, "What have I done to you, that you have struck me 3 times? And Balaam said to the donkey, he's talking to the donkey like it's no big deal. He's talking to the donkey, he said, "Because you have abused me, I wish there was a sword in my hand, for now I will kill you." So the donkey said to Balaam, "I am not your donkey in which you have ridden. Have you ever, because yours to this day was, have I ever disappointed you to this day to you?" And he said, "No." So basically the donkey said, "Have I ever not obeyed you before?" And Balaam said, "No, like it's no big deal to me. If the donkey start talking to me, I will not answer it. I don't know what I will do. It's never happened in the conversation from a master to the animal." Entonces el Señor abrió la boca del asna y ella dijo a Balaam, "¿Qué te he hecho para que me hayas golpeado hasta 3 veces? Y Balaam dijo al asna, "Porque me has abusado. Ojalá tuviera una espada en la mano para que ahora yo te matara." Entonces el asna dijo a Balaam, "¿No soy yo tu asna en aquel que tú te has montado desde que soy tuyo hasta el día de hoy? ¿Alguna vez estuve dispuesta de hacerte esto?" Y dijo Balaam, "No." Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand, and bowed his head and fell flat into his face. Verse 32, and the angel of the Lord said to him, "Why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? Behold, I have come out to stand against you, because your way is perverse before me. The donkey saw me and turned aside from me, and 3 times, and if she have not turned aside from me, surely I would also have killed you by now." And then left her side. Excuse me, my glasses are playing tricks with me, and the writing is very small, and I'm struggling to read it. Entonces el Señor abrió los ojos de Balaam y vio el ángel del Señor parado en el camino con la espada desenvainada en la mano, y él inclinó la cabeza y cayó de bruces. Y el ángel del Señor le dijo, ¿por qué has golpeado tu asna hasta 3 veces? He aquí, yo he salido para enfrentaros, porque vuestro camino es perverso delante de mí. El asna me vio y se apartó de mí hasta 3 veces. Si ella no se hubiera apartado de mí, seguramente yo también te habría matado a estas alturas y la habría dejado vivir. So basically the angel said, I would have killed you and I would have left the donkey live. And Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, have I sinned? For what I did not know you. You stood in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displease you, I will turn back. Then the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, go with the men, but only the word that I speak to you, that you shall speak. So Balaam went with the prince of Balak. Y Balaam dijo al ángel del Señor, he pecado porque no sabía que tú estabas en el camino contra mí. Ahora pues, si te desagrada volver atrás, entonces el ángel del Señor dijo a Balaam, ve con los hombres, pero solo la palabra que yo te hablé, esa hablarás. Entonces Balaam fue con los príncipes de Balac. So you might ask yourself this question. Why God get angry at Balaam for going back after he authorized him to do so? He authorized him to do so. Well, the key word is if. They ask, you go then. Balak took the liberty of going without first being asked. Podrías hacer una pregunta. ¿Por qué Dios se enojó con Balaam por ir a Balac después de que él le había autorizado hacerlo? Bueno, la palabra clave es sí o si acaso. Si te preguntas, pues vete, Balaam se tomó la libertad de ir sin que primero se lo pidieran. So, the answer. The first response of God to Balaam was, thou shalt not go with them. Thou shalt not curse the people, for they are blessed. Amen? So, in the book of Numbers 22, verse 12, the response that he might come after Balaam has confused to take no for an answer. The short answer is that the permission to go to represent God's permissive will instead of his perfect will. Oh, that's a key right there. But that will still be conditional. So, many times God tells us to do something. Muchas veces Dios nos dice que hagamos algo y nosotros nos rehusamos a hacerlo. Many times the way we refuse is either because we embarrassed, we don't want to do it, or we don't think it's God, we think it's ourselves. So we end up doing something else, and then we ask ourselves, but why something bad happened to me if I end up doing something else? We say to ourselves, I didn't do God's will, but I didn't really disobey him because I didn't do this, I didn't do B instead of A. But many times God allows us to do our own will because he wants to show us something. Muchas veces Dios permite que Él nos manda que hagamos algo y nosotros terminamos haciendo algo diferente. Y nosotros decimos, pero ¿por qué me pasó esto, Señor? Si yo no que te haya desobedecido, pero no hice mi voluntad. Pero cuando en realidad estamos haciendo nuestra voluntad, cuando no hacemos la voluntad de Dios. Y aquí nos está diciendo, I will read this in Spanish completely. Here it says, many times permission to represent God's is permissive will instead of his perfect will. His perfect will is for us to do exactly as he said so. La voluntad perfecta de Dios es que lo hagamos exactamente cuando Él lo diga, con la persona que Él lo diga y en el momento que Él lo diga. Pero si lo hacemos poquito más tarde, esa ya no es la voluntad perfecta de Dios. Eso es lo que Él permitió. If we do it a little bit later, not in the moment that he said, to the person that he said, or in the day that he said, we end up doing it later for whatever reason. God would allow us to do it later because he gave us the permission, but that is not his perfect will. And we're like, well, I end up doing God's will anyway. In our minds, I did God's will. So it's like when your own kid, you tell your kid, I want you to take the trash out, and the kid don't want to take the trash out now, but he will take the trash out later. And you ask the kid, I need you to take the trash out now for whatever reason you're asking the child to take the trash out now. Maybe it'll get full, it can tear, or whatever. But the kid end up doing it later. I know many times we as parents, we don't address. We like, oh, as long as he do what I said. No, he didn't do it on the moment that you told him to do. That was your perfect will. You allow him to. You're like, I'm going to let it go because I told you to do it earlier, but you waited till midnight to do it. So in the same way, we must do what God tells us to do in the moment that he told us to do it. Why? Because God works in seasons. Dios trabaja en estaciones. Si Dios nos dice que hagamos algo en un momento, tenemos que hacerlo en ese momento, porque quizás ya después ya va a ser muy tarde. Maybe if we want to do it later, like, oh, I'm just going to go talk to this person because God is telling me to talk to this person, but I don't have a trip right now. I'm going to go to the store later, and then on my way to the store, I'm going to stop by her house and tell them what God told me to say. When God is saying, no, I need you to do it now, because that's the season. God knows exactly what's going on in the life of the person. If we go by later, if we call it, I did God's will, no, God allowed you to do it, but that was not his will. His perfect will was to do it at the moment. Why am I saying this? It's only between you and God that God is telling you to listen to this. Even the permissive will of God is conditional. It has two elements. The first, you mentioned, and in your question, God said, if the men come. The call thee, rise up and go with them. We was reading in verse 20. Now I'm going to read it in Spanish. So la primera respuesta de Dios a Balaam fue, no irás con ellos, no maldecirás al pueblo, porque son bienaventurados. En Números 22:12, la respuesta que podría ir llegó después de que Balaam se negó a aceptar por la respuesta. Esta es el permiso para ir, representa la voluntad permisiva de Dios, en lugar de su voluntad perfecta. Por esto, la voluntad sigue siendo condicional. Incluso la voluntad permisiva de Dios es condicional. Tiene dos elementos. El primero, que mencionaste en la primera pregunta, Dios dijo, si los hombres vienen para llamarte, levántate y ve con ellos, que dijimos en el verso 9. I think it's ironic that the Lord used or chose this particular animal to shame this human person. What can we learn from this true story in the Bible? And that's a question. Creo que es irónico que el Señor haya elegido este animal en particular para avergonzar a esta persona humana. ¿Qué podemos aprender de esta historia? So, let's answer this question. Who was Balaam? So you can tell me who was Balaam, right? Who was Balaam? A wicked prophet. Thank you. What did Balaam do? He disobeyed God. Am I doing what Balaam did? You don't have to answer that. But you can think about it, right? Do I need a donkey in my life? And then I just put LOL. Should I do as Balaam donkey did? So here the hero of the story is actually Balaam's donkey. La respuesta es, ¿quién era Balaam, hermana? ¿Quién era Balaam? El dueño.
Balaam, un profeta malvado.
Un profeta malvado, perfecto. ¿Qué hizo Balaam? Desobedeció a Dios. ¿Estoy haciendo lo que hizo Balaam? Eso no lo tiene que responder. ¿Necesito un burro en mi vida? para que me salve la vida.
A veces lo necesitamos.
Dios mío. Debo hacer como hizo el asna de Balaam. Y aquí puse, el asna de Balaam fue el héroe de la película, ¿verdad? So, I believe that at some point in our lives, all of us has been in this place of Balaam. When God is trying by different ways to get our attention, to tell us something, and in our stubbornness, we don't listen and decide to do our own faith by making our own decisions without continuing God's opinion. Creo que en algún momento de nuestras vidas todos hemos estado en el lugar de Balaam, cuando Dios está tratando de diferentes maneras de llamar nuestra atención para decirnos algo, y en nuestra terquedad no escuchamos y decimos nuestra propia fe ha sido nuestra propia decisión, sin contar con la opinión de Dios. And once